The challenge with most people is that they're looking for the wrong things. Most people are focused on, is it the idea? Yeah, is it the amount of money or startup capital that I have? Is it the education that I get on how to run a business? And I'm here to say that while those may be supporting factors in certain circumstances, they are not the keys you want to focus on if you want to become an entrepreneur. To be able to make that leap into captaining your own ship. And what I do want you to focus on are these 4 points specifically, because just like being able to hack through something with a shortcut, you have these in place, it'll transform everything. It'll stack the deck in your favor. If you don't have these in place and you have everything else that you think you need, like the best idea or business plan, I promise you it's going to be an uphill struggle. So let's have a look at what these 4 keys are. The first one, understand. Understand what? Understand what a job is, because a job is the alternative to being an entrepreneur. It's where most people find themselves, having been sold on the school system of traditional education to go get some good grades, get through college, get accepted into a prestigious name, or work hard studying night and day so that you can get a piece of paper signed by somebody you've never met to tell you that you're actually clever enough to master a subject you're probably never going to focus on once you leave school. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful for people that have actually followed that path, but let's just be real and look at the numbers. Most people do not get engaged in the thing that they study in school, college, or university. It happens to be a system where they're searching for certainty, and when we get to one of the other points, you'll see why that is the antithesis of being an entrepreneur. It almost conditions you against taking the risks that are required to become an entrepreneur. Yes, of course, we have to take risks, but there's ways of doing it to hedge those bets in your favor. Again, these points are going to cover that. So understand, what is a job? A job is something that you give your time to somebody else for in a fixed job description to be paid a fixed amount of money at the end of the week, with or without bonuses. And the challenge with that is this. If you earn even a good wage, let's pick $1,000 or £1,000 or €1,000 or yen a week, whatever it is for you that would represent a good wage. The challenge with that, let's say $1,000. The challenge is that if you're earning $1,000 a week, then the job that you're doing has to be worth more than $1,000 a week. Otherwise, there's no benefit to the business owner. In other words, by having a job, you will always have to settle for less than what you're worth. And what you're doing is you're trading off that need for certainty for a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth. And that, unfortunately, puts people out of the running to be an entrepreneur and stops so many people from embracing the challenge of being able to go forward and contribute something to the world and live the life on their own terms. So what is a job? A job is a fast track to a life of mediocrity. Case closed. Now again, if you're passionate about the job that you're doing, then that's great. But this is for people that want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm assuming that, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. So if you're sat there thinking, I've got my job and I'm holding on to it tightly here, but here's the entrepreneur path, and when do I let go? I'm here to tell you that unless you master these points, this is never going to happen. So the first thing you have to do to start loosening that grip is to stop telling yourself the story that you need the job. You do not need the job. You may want the job to give you certainty, but I promise you, there's a whole different life waiting on the other side. So understand what a job is. People sometimes say, well, what about job security? There's no security in starting my own business. I might fail. Well, it's true, a lot of businesses fail. But guess what? The only job security, in my mind, is being an entrepreneur. Because the alternative to that is what? The alternative to job security is the ability of your CEO or managing director or the owner of the business that you work for in your job. It's their ability to run his or her company. If they don't run their company well, you could be the best at making widgets or filing or doing customer service or whatever the role is that you're doing. You could be the best in the world. It doesn't matter. If they can't run the business that is supplying you that position, it's toast. Whereas if you get to learn the fundamentals of captaining your own ship, then that's a whole different ballgame. So first, understand what a job is, because then it makes it a little easier to let go of it. Second key point, ask. Ask what? Ask better questions. Now that may sound a little obvious, but let me just tell you that most people don't start businesses, most people have a problem in relationships, most people go through life unfulfilled simply because they don't ask the right questions. By asking a question, it directs the focus of your brain to look in a place where you can have access to more resources or more fulfillment. So what kind of questions should you be asking if you want to become an entrepreneur? Well, the first question is, why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? That sounds like an obvious question. Why? Because here's the first problem that most people make, unfortunately. Most people leave their job because they don't like their job. I want to be an entrepreneur because I hate my boss. Wrong reason. I want to be an entrepreneur because my mom and dad don't think I did well enough and I want to prove to them that I can do it. Or I want to be an entrepreneur because I really want to prove to my brother that I'm as good as he is because he started his business. Wrong reasons. Unless you can ask yourself better questions as to why you want to be an entrepreneur, and look for the truthful answer. Is it because it provides a pathway, especially in today's society, that gives you a way to find and express your passion? Is it a pathway so that you can take control of your own life on your own terms rather than dance to somebody else's music? So what kind of questions you want to ask? Why am I being an entrepreneur? If it's for the right reasons, you're in. If it's because I want to make more money, I'm here to tell you, that's like saying I want to have babies because I want to have more time to myself. It doesn't work that way. You're going to chase your tail. The whole masterclass on money, go watch that, you'll understand. So if you have a look at asking better questions like, if I knew it was impossible to fail, what would I do? If I could only spend my life doing one thing, what would it be? If there was something that I love to do so much, I'd actually pay to do it, what would that be? See, those kind of questions start to dial you in away from the certainty trap. In other words, I want to be an entrepreneur, so I'm going to start a business in something that I think will give me the most chance of success. I don't really enjoy it, but it's something I know. That is a fast track to nowhere. As opposed to saying, something I've always wanted to work with people or animals or numbers or children or work in a customer-facing environment that I can really get out and work and interact with people. Whatever it is for you, ask yourself those kind of questions will start to lead you down a pathway of passion versus certainty. And that's so important because in business, my friends, just as in life, there is no certainty. So if you're chasing certainty from the beginning because you think that you know more about how to succeed in this, I'm here to tell you that will stop 30 seconds into applying whatever it is you think your business plan will give you. There is no certainty. Business plans are great, but I've never seen one fail on paper. There is uncertainty at every turn, but that's the nature of life. See, the strongest trees don't grow in the best soil. They grow in the strongest winds. So learning how to approach and accept that level of adversity and uncertainty is really where true entrepreneurs start to shine. But ask yourself better questions before you start committing to a life that inherently includes more uncertainty. Okay, third point, upgrade. Upgrade what? Not your car, not your flight ticket. Upgrade something way more important that will lead you to be able to upgrade your car and your flight ticket. Upgrade your peer group. Now, why do I say that? Because there is a law in life, and I didn't make it up, but you can look at it everywhere. The evidence is astounding. It's called the law of conformity. I call it the 95% law because 5% of people in the world own the world. 5% of people in the world retire in any kind of shape financially, let alone emotionally, spiritually, or otherwise. Why? Because they hang out together. You hang out with 10 motivated, self-starting guys that will call you on your excuses and say, you're better than that, come on, let's do it. Yes, you can, I believe in you, let's go. And you'll likely become the 11th. You hang around with 10 people who sit on the couch eating Haagen-Dazs, making excuses, 10 people who prefer sleep rather than success, and you're going to become the 11th. Not because you're a good person, not because they're bad people. It's not about that. It's about behaviors are conditioned, and your environment is your biggest conditioner. So choose your environment, choose who you hang with. How do you upgrade your peer group? By setting your intention to be somebody of value, setting your intention to not accept excuses into your life, And therefore, the people in your life that come up with excuses won't want to be around you anymore.